I think it's the first time I've ever seen Pat Neal not accept a hug from me.
I have a cold.
You know, good excuse. No, Senator, thank you so much for that warm introduction, and I appreciate everything you've done to make the state what it is today. Governor, good to see you. First Lady, thank y'all so much for being here. Does it feel good in here? It's warm. It's full of energy. It's full of a lot of energy. It's a little too warm for you? Lightweight. You take the tie off. It's okay. It's all right. It's an honor to be here with y'all tonight. It really is. I was just talking to the mayor, and the mayor said he actually got mistaken for me earlier today. I was about to say, I didn't think you were that good looking. So, but you know, y'all just had Ashley Moody up here, and she is a complete delight to serve with. She does an amazing job. She's focused on not just being a part of the solutions in the state, looking out for sexual trafficking, looking out for the opioid problems. There's so many things she's very passionate about, but she just loves the state, period. She's got a great heart. She's a servant's heart. And then, you know, and I just left the governor's mansion, and I got to hang out with the governor a little bit. And I got to admit, the reason why I wasn't here for Ashley's speech is Daytona. It's this Volusia Days. So the NASCAR folks brought a pace car and an actual NASCAR stock car there, and I got to sit in and crank it up. So you got to indulge me on that one. That was I already sent videos to my boys. So, but anyway, Dominic, thank you for all your leadership. Everything you do. I've only known Dominic since before I got in this process, going on about 20 plus years now. I used to be an intern in the Florida Senate, and I think Senator Neal, you were in the Senate, I think probably about 20 years before I was an intern. Is that all right? Yeah. Before recorded history, is that tablet time? Yeah. But in all seriousness, and I touched on this last time I visited with y'all, and I'm going to continue because I said it again earlier today. So the state of Florida it's in a fantastic economic shape. Matter of fact, it's in such fantastic economic shape. It's the first time in the state history that all three major credit rating agencies have given us a AAA bond rating. Fourth largest economy in the United States, 18th largest economy in the world. And one thing that I get really excited about, it's kind of nerdy, but you know, over the last 8 years, we've paid down $10 billion in state debt. And this is the same statement a number of y'all have heard me say over and over. It's part of my stump speech. But with that $10 billion in state debt paid down over the last 8 years, it's given us unique advantages, because when we go and borrow money, we go to market. When we're expanding roads, right-of-way acquisitions, issuing bonds, we're borrowing money cheaper than in Illinois or New Jersey. Now, those are the poster childs of absolute extreme worst behavior when it comes to fiscal management of a state's resources. But, you know, the irony of this is over the last 8 years, the last time we had a governor who was passionate about paying state debt was when Governor Bob Martinez was in office. And you know, there's a lot to be said for his leadership. There was so much good that was accomplished, but just, you know, understanding that the state's ability to be nimble, responsive, to be able to make opportunities take place quickly is so much easier when you got good fiscal health. So as we are moving forward, the state's fiscal management, our strong asset management, our fiscal responsibility, all this has just made the state of Florida just an incredibly attractive place to have relocations taking place to. And my one concern is we're seeing thousands of people every single week move to the state of Florida from New York, New Jersey, and these other high tax states. And part of the challenge that we're running into is when they cross the state line, I just pray that we can do a blood test or something at the state line so we can test them, because they have left a state where they created the tax environment they just left. And we just don't want them to continue to vote and advocate for those same tax policies in the state of Florida. So we have good folks that come up every single year advocating. Ed, good to see you again. I didn't know you had a suit. God. Yeah, I get it. Well, you look good looking tonight. You know, she looks better. So anyway, but I got to hang out with Ed this morning. You don't need a cup of coffee when you're with Ed in the morning. You know what I mean? It's very effective way to get your blood pumping. But as the state of Florida does have this incredible opportunity, and folks are moving here, they're bringing their income, they're bringing their investment opportunities, they're making the state of Florida a more affordable place to live. So again, keeping us accountable, being a part of the solution, being engaged in this process helps keep the elected legislators you elect to this process responsible to what helps create jobs in each one of your businesses. Florida's job growth, even last year alone, we added 201,000 jobs. We're on track right now where our employment growth rate is at 2.6%. The nation is at 1.6%. So Florida's outpacing the national average. We have an unemployment rate at an all-time low of 3.1%. All these are fantastic figures, but again, if we're not disciplined, if we're not focused, if we're not sensitive to what the economy can turn on a short notice. Look, in 06 it was white hot. In 09 it was a train wreck. So again, in a short period of time it quickly changes, but discipline has got to take place. And as I'm so excited to be here as this economy is flourishing, I expect you to hold me accountable. Let me talk a little bit about our legislative priorities. I'm going to wrap up. I get this incredible opportunity to serve with some amazing people, and one of them is Commissioner David Altmeyer, Insurance Commissioner. Another one is our Tasha Carter. She's our Insurance Consumer Advocate. So this year we're going to push forward a consumer protection bill when it comes to dealing with insurance. Hurricane Michael hit my hometown. It was devastating in what it did, but what was also devastating was the impact on how individuals put their lives back together post-storm. Some of that is dealing with the insurance claims process. Some of that was dealing with some of the players that come get involved with the claims process that unfortunately take advantage of people. So we want to empower our consumers, make sure that when they are dealing with a public adjuster, and maybe they signed up with a public adjuster under duress. It does. We want to give them some flexibility. At a time of a disaster declaration, we want to give them a little more time to be able to get out of that agreement to ensure that they're getting the proper actions from their insurance company. Now what happens is sometimes insurance companies not responsive either. So, we're going to go and hold those guys accountable that you can't go out and change an adjuster, and have multiple adjusters coming through. And next thing you know, you're carrying an accordion file that's 2 feet thick that you have to share and start from scratch with every single adjuster as you start the claims process. None of this is made for good policies. This is not good for our citizens, and we need to make sure that we're empowering our citizens to be able to get the attentions of those that are holding the policies and taking care of their claims. The other thing that I want to ensure that we do is carry a little bit further with our firefighters. Now Senator Neal, we talk from time to time because we've got to make sure that the role that our first responders play is also in the best interest of how we handle business. And I love when people call saying, did you know that we can do this and it'll help create jobs? At the same time, it's going to help raise the tax base. All this stuff works well together. I want people to make money. I really do. As long as citizens as a state are making money, they're expanding their footprint, they're adding more jobs, they're getting in a position where it's more competitive. What else could you ask for? So with our firefighters, we have now decided we're going to step up as a state, and as cancer is something that eliminates is not a good choice of words. 70% of the deaths that occur in the line of duty are cancer related with our firefighters. That's an unacceptable number. So what are we doing? We're stepping up with a more aggressive agenda, with partnering with local governments to make the necessary investments for things. Anybody know what an extractor is? I know you do. And you do. You know what an extractor is? You do? An extractor is a fancy word for a washing machine. Okay? So what do? We're going to help our firefighters, our local governments, our county governments to be able to partner up with the state as they are putting those necessary investments in the place of our fire stations in order to not necessarily fix problems. I would much rather is prevent problems. Lastly, veterans identity theft. It's a big deal to me. We're going to have the strongest veterans protection laws in the books. And you think about, you've got maybe a husband and wife, they've served our military, they've served all over the world, protecting what we have that's so precious in America. Well, when they decide to come to the state of Florida, and right now the irony of this is a veteran is twice as likely to be a target of identity theft than somebody who did not serve. And you think about it, once they retire, they move to the great state of Florida, a low tax environment. What happens? They buy a house, they're setting up utilities, they're subscribing to cable. There's a number of different ways this new address becomes active in the system. And unfortunately, it also becomes a target for those identity thieves that come forward. Another audience with our military that's targeted, you think of the 18-year-old sailor or the 18-year-old soldier, the 18-year-old airman. This is their first real job they've ever had. They've got a solid paycheck, and they probably got secure employment for at least 18 to 28 months, okay? That is liberating to have that type of money, to be able to make investments, to do nice things for yourself, but also, again, becomes a target because maybe they're a little naive, maybe there's just not enough experience of how they can be taken advantage of by these identity thefts. So we're raising the bar. We're going to ensure that when you are taking advantage of a veteran, we're going to treat it the same way as a white-collar crime. And we're going to do everything we can to ensure that those individuals that work 24/7, 365, to give us the type of freedoms that we appreciate are being protected by the state's laws. Thank you. In closing, I just want to thank you all so much for enduring this 80-degree temperature to hear my speech. It's probably, you know, well, anybody got an Apple Watch on? What's the temperature say on your watch?
It's 6:48.
No, I don't want to know what time it is. You don't know? Anyway, it's hot. You know what I'm saying? It's Florida. You know what? It could be a heck of a lot worse. You know what I'm saying? It could be, next week it's like 23 degrees up here. You see that? Anyway, y'all have got a wonderful evening to look forward to with some dynamic folks you get to share the evening with. God bless you all. Thanks so much. Thanks.